once I've received an expedite, we're getting a lot of questions about expediting, received an expedite email from the NVC, how long before we can expect to receive an interview date here in Manila, and what DQ date they are usually interviewing right now in Manila?
I don't think there's a lot of interviews going on in Manila right now. I know Chris and I, maybe Jacob, are on a listserv where the immigration attorneys who do a lot of nurse cases are hosting things. And I did, people were asking whether they were doing any interviews at all in Manila. And there was a little bit of quiet, and then somebody said, oh, one of my nurses got approved last week. So, you know, I think it's been very small, the number of people that have got green card interviews. I would think that if somebody got an expedite, that, you know, they would be interviewed very, very quickly. But it's not something, you know, we have a whole bunch of nurses that were putting in all the information to the National Visa Center and so on. But I haven't seen an interview come up yet. Maybe Jacob and Chris could add something to that.
I mean, what I can tell you is that we had a lot of expedited from NVC, but there seems to be a disconnect between the NVC and the actual embassy, because the embassy is saying that they don't have appointments. NVC is not sending cases, you know, only once they expedite them. So there's a bit of a lag before they actually interview them. So, you know, it's just hard to say. It's not consistent, Tanya. That's the problem.
Yeah. And I can just jump in. I mean, Chris, you can jump in as well, but we are seeing the exact same thing. It seems to be different in different parts of the world. You know, a lot of nurses are getting very, very frustrated because they're putting in an expedite request, and then they might not be able to get the embassy. A lot of nurses we've seen, I have been getting a notice from some of the consulates that there's no interview dates available. Chris, is that what you're seeing as well?
Yeah, no, I'm seeing the same thing that the other three are. And I think this is what's really happening, which is the NVC has been told, if you have a nursing case or doctor case and a few other high healthcare cases, to expedite the NVC process. And so the NVC is doing what it's supposed to do. There's an independent process, granted it's within the same agency, but there's an independent process, which is appointments being scheduled at the embassies. And those, as everybody on the panel is saying, are sporadic. They're subject to local infection rates. They're subject to local capacity at the embassies, just based on how many interviewing officers they have. And so, so I'm sure it's frustrating, but it's not volitional. No one's trying to slow the process up. The embassies, they need to socially distance. They are on slow schedules, reduced capacity schedules. And so that's what's going on. To the specific question of what's the DQ date that they're processing, my experience is that it almost has no correlation. It's really just the file gets to the embassy picks the first one up on the desk and schedules an appointment. I think trying to look for rationale in a incoherent system is probably not going to prove to be fruitful.